to nobody's surprise, Rose Namajunas said that after the Carla fight that she thought she was done. I mean, obviously, of course you thought you were done. I mean, a lot of us thought you were done. It seemed like for the longest time she wasn't even going to come back, but I mean, she did find something to actually excite her. I do understand her point of view, like, okay, I beat Weili twice. Why should I come back and beat her a third time? I mean, honestly, why not? You're going to beat the person for a third time who beat the person who beat you twice in one of your worst career performances. And I think that could make people forget about the Carla fight. And you could do something no one else has done before, becoming a 3-time champion. But hey, you do you. It's your choice. It's your career. I respect it. And, flyweight is a new challenge. But here's the whole statement. So she said, I definitely thought I was done for a good amount of time. There was definitely a number of things, but the way that I felt going into the locker room at UFC 274, I just didn't feel aggressive. Well, yeah, that's why you weren't aggressive. Felt like I just really didn't want to hurt anybody, so I was just like, oh, yeah, I guess I'm done. And I mean, if you're in the hurt business and you're not interested in hurting your opponents and you don't like the concept of violence and you just, let's say you think too deeply into that, then yeah, the sport definitely isn't for you. But watching the whole interview, what I got out of this was basically she's losing her passion for fighting because she just doesn't feel violence anymore. I mean, if that's the case, then yeah, I'd suggest just walking away, even though it's pretty crappy to want to go out. Like it would be crappy to go out off that, not just the loss to Carla. It's not that she just lost and then let's say she retires after. It's how she lost. She gave away a fight she should have won by fighting scared. You know what I mean? And losing stock, losing a bunch of fans. Like that fight right there hurt her entire legacy. And to go out like that and not want to make up for it, yeah, that does really irk me. But if the passion isn't there, why are you doing this? If you don't want to hurt anyone, why are you doing this? You know what I mean? And she said that for the last 3 years, she didn't truly want to be back. I mean, she said that her only purpose for coming back in 2020 was just the Jessica fight, getting that one back, which is BS. That's not true, because she was also calling out Zhang Weili, saying, Weili, you got the belt. I'm coming for you. Why did you say that if you only want to come back to fight Andrade? But whatever. I mean, it seemed like when you talked about coming back in 2020, you said you were in it for the long run, not just for one fight. But basically your statement was, oh, well, I just took the Andrade fight, but you know what? I just kept going from there, and then the title came with it. And it did mean so much once I got the belt back. But yeah, all of that's just kind of confusing, man. Rose Namajunas is a confusing, complex person. And she contradicts a lot of the stuff that she says, man. A lot of things that she says. Because the statement on coming back from the Andrade loss, what she's saying about it now is different from what she said about it those 3-4 years ago. And now what she's saying about the Carla fight, for why she performed like that, is different from her statement a year ago. A year ago, she didn't say that, oh, I just didn't feel violent. You know what I mean? A year ago, she said, I just fought the way I did because Carla's dangerous and I have to be safe, happy, healthy, and safe. I don't want to put myself in danger against a bum like Carla Esparza, because I can get myself taken down and mauled like I did in the first fight, you know? And now she's blaming it for last minute just not feeling like a violent person and just not wanting to hurt her. Which, yeah, she always changes the things that she says, which annoys me. I can't stand when people do that. It seems like now heading into this Manon-Fiorot fight, she's like just creating a whole new narrative. But nonetheless, man, this is definitely not what I want to hear. Someone talking about how they don't really feel like hurting people, and still questioning the passion for fighting. Hello, Rose Namajunas, you got a hungry, dangerous top contender in a whole new weight class who's coming to take your head off. Manon-Fiorot's not going into this fight talking about, I don't want to hurt my opponents. Manon don't care. Manon don't give a fuck. She's coming there to hurt you. So if you show up with that mindset, Rose, of not wanting to hurt your opponent or questioning if you should still be in the octagon and still be fighting, you're in a lot of trouble and you're going to lose this fight. I'm sorry, Rose. It's just not going to be a good ending for you. With that pacifist mindset you're going into this fight with, Rose, that is a recipe for disaster. So, yeah, I don't understand why people are so confident that she's just going to go out there and run through Manon Fiorot. Like, it just doesn't make sense, given how untrustworthy Rose is, how unreliable Rose Namajunas is. You know, people are like, well, Manon's not in her level, so Rose is just going to go up the division against a bigger person and a different style from what she's used to and just win. When it's like, well, okay, is Rose a stranger to losing fights that she should be winning? Like when she lost to Jessica, who she should have beat. Like when she lost to Carla again, who at that stage in her career she shouldn't be losing to. I'm just saying. So who's to say that Manon Fiorot cannot defeat Rose Namajunas? A lot of the outcomes of Namajunas' fights usually always boils down to, you know, how she shows up mentally. Like physically, she's capable of beating anybody. You know what I mean? But if the mental isn't there, then she doesn't perform and she ends up losing fights that she shouldn't be losing, which has been the story of Rose's entire career. And it felt like in 2021, she had mastered that, putting together the physical and the mental, but then just jumped ship for the Carla fight and ended up in the same position she was in 3 years ago. And the cycle just keeps on repeating itself. After 3 wins in a row, by the 4th fight, something always gets in the way. And in this interview, you know, she was basically kind of putting the blame on God as to why she loses passion for fighting, and, you know, saying, oh, God's telling me that maybe he wants me to stop fighting. Maybe he doesn't want me to hurt people anymore, and that's why I don't want to hurt anybody. And then she even said, you know, the reason why she's even coming back to fight now is because maybe God isn't done with that part of her life, which I think all of that is a bunch of BS. You're coming back not because the Lord is not done with you being a fighter. You're coming back because you want to challenge yourself. You found motivation to fight again by taking a fight in a new division to become a double champion, and because you feel like you have to fight because Pat Barry's talking in your ear and you feel the pressure to go out there and fight. If that was the case of God wanting you to come back and fight, you still would not be questioning yourself and your passion and your motives. You would just be like, all right, I'm back and this is it. I'm back and I want to fight and I want to redeem myself after the Carla loss. Honestly, God doesn't care. I don't think he cares whether you're fighting or not. The only thing God cares about is you just doing his will and serving his purpose and, you know, worshiping him. All that other stuff, your fight career, like, that's neither here nor there for him. So that's irrelevant to bring up. And then what if you end up losing this fight, Rose? If you lose, this is going to be your retirement fight, because ever since 2019, your mentality has been, well, if I lose, I'm just going to fight once a year. I'm going to take a year off and question my will to even want to fight anymore. So I think the 3rd loss in 3 years is going to lead to her retiring if she is not successful against Manon Fiorot. And then what? Is that because of God, Rose, or is that because of you? I mean, we got free will, don't we? You had a choice, you know, to not take the Jessica fight and vacate the belt when you weren't feeling passionate, and then to come back when you felt like you were ready. You had a choice, Rose, to fight Carla and be aggressive and fight to win rather than staying safe. That's not God's fault. You need to take responsibility for your career decisions. It's your choice whether you want to fight again or not. And with all this second guessing yourself BS that you're doing, it's just not a good look ahead of this fight coming up in Paris. I mean, who knows? Maybe she'll go out there and win because she'll have motivation to fight a new challenge and to fight someone who's a dangerous fight for herself in a different division. You know, maybe the goal of becoming a flyweight champion, chasing a different belt, is more exciting for her. So maybe good things are to come, but I don't know, man. It's all right now in speculation until the fight happens. But yeah, it's just so exhausting, man, keeping up with Rose and just being her fan, because you just never know whether she's going to love the sport Like, one day she can love the sport, another day she can wake up and be like, oh, I don't really want to hurt people. Oh, I really don't want to fight. I mean, you wanted to kick Zhang Weili in the head, and you were proud of doing that. So I don't get it. No use trying to understand the mind of Rose Namajunas. But it's pretty obvious that she doesn't have many fights left in her career. I mean, even she said that. And it will not surprise me if this Manon Fiorot fight is going to be the last. And if it's not, well, I don't think she's going to win 3 in a row this time. Something tells me that she wins this one, she'll lose the next fight after that, and then call it a career in 2024. But 2023 or 2024 is going to be the last we see Rose Namajunas in the octagon. She clearly doesn't feel that drive and love for the game anymore, and there's nothing wrong with that. She's right. She's already accomplished a lot in the sport, but it just irks me that she's forcing herself to do something that she's not sure about. Like, the moment you feel you're unsure is the moment you should probably stop. That's all I'm saying. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.